Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris over here at iRepairDr. Today we're going to be doing a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus screen repair, front and back glass. It's cracked down here in the corner and along the sides. As you can see here in the top corner, the LCD is messed up. Just a forewarning before you watch this video, the way that we repair this here is the highest possible quality repair that there humanly is possible for this phone. So this isn't going to be the cheapest repair by any stretch of the imagination, but it'll be the best looking, best functioning, least headache version of the repair that you can even possibly think of. Now what we do is we have a Samsung S8 full frame screen with a brand new frame and everything on it. We'll just have to pull the back off, pull the battery, motherboard, charging dock, swap it over, and we're good to go. This is brand new. We also got our new back plate, pre-installed adhesive. So let's get started. What we're gonna need here, it's like a little pry tool, maybe a couple picks. These things aren't the greatest, but everybody seems to love them. This is a black frame, and if you're not gonna do it the way I'm showing you, then you probably want to use the plastic. But since we're, you know, all this is gonna be brand new again, there's really no, it doesn't matter if it gets scratched or anything. What we're gonna need to do is start by heating up the back of the phone. Make sure it's off. You don't want to get it too hot, but you want to get it, you know, pretty warm. Keep it, you know, keep moving it. Now you see I start underneath here. Now when you get to the corner, it's obviously going to be tricky because it's curved both ways around the corner. So if you can get it started, then you can put pry tools in there. That'd probably be your best bet. This won't keep the phone waterproof either, even though that we replacing the entire assembly from Samsung. We're still having to replace this back, so chances are it won't be waterproof. You got to be careful around here because that's your fingerprint scanner and stuff, and there is a cable that connects it down along the side. So if you notice, I'm only going in, you know, very little bit. Alright, it looks like picking it up and unplug that fingerprint scanner for us. We'll just have to double check and make sure it didn't tug on it too hard. Just like that, we have the back off. We're gonna have to put this off to the side for now. So what I like to do is I like to come by, just running my pry tool up underneath here and just slowly picking up the wireless charging base, just like that. Then we're going to come around remove all these screws. They should all be the same size, so it honestly doesn't matter if you put them in a pile. I always just lay them out kind of the way they came out of the phone. Some phones, you never know, it could be a different size, screw, a little bit longer. You might not even be able to really tell, but it might be only a millimeter difference, and that may be the difference from stabbing it through the screen or not. Alright, so now what we need to do is kind of pop these little plastic pieces off. Try not to pry against anything on here, because you start doing that and you really have some serious problems. There, unplug the power just in case we pop it on. There we go. So, with our back exposed, we can kind of see what our new phone has and what it doesn't. Like, we can see we're gonna have to switch over the camera pieces. Some sensors are obviously going there. You get your charging port, your screen. These antenna wires are going to have to switch. We're going to have to make sure that we uncover all these plastic covers on anything, because if we don't, you may not be able to hear anything, or you may, features may not work. Looks like the ear speaker stays. Alright. So, need a SIM pin to pull the SIM card out. Pop that puppy out. Alright, now, again, do not lean on the board, just try to pick those pieces up. Because these little parts down here, you knock them off, then the phone doesn't work. Maybe a feature doesn't work, it still may work, but you may not have service or something. Oh, I missed one of the pop connectors right there. Alright, so take the motherboard and put it off to the side. And I have to pop off that connector for the headphone jack. Careful, one of the flex cables kind of sticks to the side of the frame right here. It's another antenna. Pick that guy up. Sorry if I pull it off camera, it's only because it's kind of a pain in the butt to do and show it at the same time sometimes. Slowly, boom. Now if you look, you know, we got everything. Slide your antenna back under there. Gotta get that back in the groove. Get it in the groove. Take our screws and swap them back over. If you notice, this one has a little piece of metal sticking out. That's just to ground it onto the frame, so you just pop it back in, leave it sticking out. So there you go. Bottom switched over, antennas, everything's good. We still got to do the vibrate switch, or the vibrate, and these sensors up here. It's got like, gotta pop that tape off. You gotta be very careful. You gotta try to get your pry tool under there and slide it right up. Make sure you don't knock anything off, because if I would have slid further, I would have damaged the sensors. Put your new one in. Looks good. We can retape it. Now the vibrate sometimes is a pain to get out because they're really glued in there. But on this one, you can kind of come underneath the contacts and go right to the metal base of the vibrate and pop it right out. If you look, I kind of bent this a tiny bit, so I'm going to bend it back. Vibrates in. Now the last piece we got, it looks like the battery. So doing just a quick look over, everything's good. There's nothing I left or didn't take out that I can tell as of right now. So we got to kind of warm up this battery and separate it out. How I'm going to warm it up is I'm going to warm up the glass on the left side here from the front, since our LCD, it still works, but it's got a broken LCD, so there's really no sense in trying to salvage it. So I'll just warm it up and hopefully it'll release the battery enough. You want to get it kind of warm to the touch. The S8 battery is pretty tight in the hole. There isn't a lot of play. make sure when you're popping it out that it isn't bending the battery, because then you're not going to be able to fit the phone back together right. And just a little bit of pressure, it should come right out. The glue's even still good. Should be able to pop it right back in. Perfect. So now we got to switch over the motherboard. I always try to plug in this bottom one first, because you don't want to force the board down on it. So you plug it in, try to wiggle these cables around, try not to rip on them or pull on them or anything, because they will fail. Let's look at the one over there. So now we got the board down. I'm pretty satisfied with it. You can pop these on. This is your screen one, so you got to be extremely careful with these, because if you even nick this cable, like this little flex cable here, it just won't work. You'll just have to buy a whole nother part again. With the cost of these parts and repairs, it almost is better to just have somebody professionally do it, because you're really only saving a few bucks. We only charge maybe $40 to do the repair, you know, on top of the parts cost. Our labor is 40 bucks, I should say. Sneak that under there. Perfect. Try to plug in that blue one. Now let's try to plug in this white one. Sorry, I'm pulling it away from the camera probably. I might have put the battery just a touch too low when I stuck it back in. The glue's kind of really sticky now. So maybe we plug the battery in first and then set it back in. It has like a little bit of a gap at the bottom compared to the top. So let me unplug it again. Check, make sure everything looks good. Now we have our front camera. And try to never touch these camera lenses. Never put your finger on there. If you do, you'll get a little bit of oil on there and it will never come off. It's so hard to clean it off, and more than likely if you try cleaning it, you'll ruin the camera. You're just gonna have to replace it. So it looks like we have everything in the phone minus the back and the loudspeaker. We need to put that in there first. I'm gonna do a test run with it. Since the power button's pressure sensitive and the phone isn't really together, I had to kind of hold down on the motherboard right here to make contact. Because if you look, those two little dots right there are the contact for it. So it's like right underneath that. The screen looks perfect. flawless. I mean, this is a OEM part from Samsung, so I've never had one come in bad, to be honest. So after we got that taken care of, we know that that's working. What we're gonna do is put our plastic pieces back on. Start putting our screws in. Pop in that last piece. Try to stick this back down. Now you're basically back to where we started with just the back. We can slide the SIM card back in there. So if your back's cracked, what you're going to need to do is add a little bit of heat to it around here, but be very careful because you don't want to melt anything, because we're going to try to pop that back off. It don't take much to get it hot. Just try to pry it up without bending the plate. I mean, you could try to reuse this adhesive. Sometimes it don't work. Sometimes it ends up popping out. It's just the nature of it. So we'll put that off to the side. Now we got this to pull out. This is obviously a lot smaller amount of glue, but there's still a good little ring around it. Perfect. What I like to do is take cell phone tape, kind of run it around the holes the best I can to try to re-adhere it back down. Like I said before, you could always reuse your old glue. Sometimes that isn't the best idea. Sometimes it's fine. You know, it's kind of a preference. You know, the back isn't totally expensive to replace. You know, if it breaks again or if it gives you issues and you end up having to pull it back apart. So, I mean, that's not a big deal. But if you have this tape, I would probably recommend to use this instead of the the original adhesive. I don't think this is narrow enough. I got my 3mm cell phone tape on there. I got to pull these little red pieces off. If you have any pieces of glass stuck to these pieces, make sure you clean them off. My setup happened to be pretty clean, no problems. Again, try not to put your finger on any of these lenses, especially on the inside. And because this plastic is on here, it's giving this a little bit of an issue pushing out. So just might have to look at it. I also like to take a little bit of extra cell phone tape and run it up over the screws. And the reason for this is it's just a little bit better stuck down. You know, if maybe your adhesion, maybe if the adhesive releases a little bit later on down the road, you know, on the edges, you still have another backup piece of tape or whatever holding it down. It's just like overkill, really. So you push those guys off to the side, take your back, pop it up, plug that in. Be careful when you line it up, because with so much adhesion on there, sometimes it won't come back off. So the way Samsung brings it, it's just around the edge, and me adding that extra on there really secures it on there good. This repair will not make the phone waterproof again, so keep that in mind. So the only thing that's bad about these phones is, man, they really fingerprint up quick. I can't even hold it without making it look like a mess. But there you go. All repaired, like brand new, highest quality repair you're gonna get. There is nothing gonna make it higher quality except buying another phone. 100% looks like it just came out of the box. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe. Please check out my other videos for more repairs. And yeah, check back. And if there is anything that I missed, just set it in the comments and I'll try to answer your questions. Thank you. Peace.